All right, Friday, February the 17th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here with you again today. Going to talk about what's ahead over the next week or so and also take a look at some longer range ideas as we head towards early March. Here's a peek at our Greensboro Tower camera this morning. I'll show you the radar here during the 5 o'clock hour in just a moment. A little bit of activity showing up, but most of it is virga, most of it evaporating prior to making it to the ground. Now here's a look down at the Queen City of Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium. From the Dowd YMCA camera early this morning, temperature in Charlotte this hour as I cut the video, which is again the 5 a.m. hour, 42 degrees. And up in the high country there's the Beach Mountain Parkway cam from resortcams.com. Temperature there at freezing. And that means temperatures just cold enough there at the Beach Mountain Ski Resort area to make some snow. So the snow guns are fired up again early this morning. Really, the ski conditions at this point are absolutely fantastic across the region. A lot of groomed and powder type of conditions. Now, a much warmer setup on the way over the weekend, and so maybe getting a little bit wetter and slushier with the conditions. But plenty of base step, plenty of trails available, and one of those kind of spring skiing kind of feels coming up that way if you want to head there over the course of the weekend. Not bad at all, but it will be more of a spring skiing weekend. All right, highs yesterday. Look at this warm air back here in the Plain States, arcing down rather into the southeast and the Tennessee Valley. That's what's heading our direction. Still a pretty cool day in North Carolina yesterday. A lot of highs in the 50s, even still 38 for the high in Boone. It was mainly lower side of the 50s around the Triad viewing area, 46 in North Wilkesboro, low and mid 50s elsewhere. Charlotte a little bit milder, upper side of the 50s in many spots. And everybody will be much, much warmer today. I think a lot of us about 10 degrees or so warmer today compared to yesterday. Now on the radar, again, a little bit showing up over parts of North Carolina. Most of what you see is indeed evaporating prior to making it to the ground, but a couple sprinkles or snow flurries possible here or there this morning. Not a big deal. This is mainly just some clouds rolling through. Otherwise, really very quiet over the vast majority of the eastern part of the country. Now, along the Texas Gulf Coast, here's where rain is beginning to break out. That's with the system that gets here late tomorrow. More on that here in just a second. Along the west coast, boy, the California coast being pounded between San Francisco and Los Angeles with another big system hitting the western United States. Now, temperatures on the chilly side this morning, but the core of this cold air is retreating to the northeast, being replaced by this much warmer air further to the south and west through the Plain States. A lot of mild and above average temperatures, and that's the air that's moving in here. That'll take hold really starting today and continue for much of next week. So here we go. The setup today still favors a quiet setup with that area of high pressure off to the south of us heading out into the Atlantic. Pretty quiet Friday weather, a lot of sunshine, highs winding up like that across the region. Now, our next disturbance gets here late tomorrow. A decent amount of upper-level energy involved with that one for Saturday. However, not much moisture for that system to work with. So we have a lot of clouds that build in late tomorrow. There might be a few isolated rain showers late in the afternoon and into tomorrow night. But again, the moisture very, very limited. So not a huge deal there. There's our highs on Saturday as the warming trend continues as we get on into Sunday. Good deal of Sunday sunshine. Sunday's highs look like that across the region. And then for President's Day on Monday, boy, that looks great. Just fantastic weather setup. Let me show you some of the higher resolution modeling here. This is the European 500 millibar chart, vorticity today. There's tomorrow's system currently over Texas. That swings in here, but again, not a ton of moisture for that one to work with. And then next week, we'll see how this unfolds. The next piece of energy kind of cuts off down in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll see how far north that is, if it winds up being far enough north to bring us some rain opportunities. I have gone ahead and kept some shower chances in here, especially around Wednesday of next week. Some uncertainty when you're dealing with a cutoff low like that, exactly how it's going to behave. The Canadian model wants to keep a lot of that rain next week off to the south of us. Doesn't really bring any significant rain in here through the week. Let me show you the GFS representation. First of all, there's today, there's tomorrow with that system approaching, but really drying up as it moves in. Sunday, very quiet. Monday, very quiet. Tuesday, that's when this system begins to approach on the GFS, but still quiet Tuesday. Wednesday, a lot more cloud cover. on the GFS. Couple of loose showers. Same deal for Thursday, and then that system kind of slowly exits out to the Atlantic on Friday as the next cold front approaches. The European model similar, although it has a little bit more in the way of some rain around here on Wednesday. Again, we'll just have to see how that next little piece of energy unfolds. Now, in the longer range, let me go back here to the European model. This is the operational run. Notice this ridging going up toward Alaska. This is valid next Thursday night, so the 23rd into the 24th. And that forces a little bit of a change in the overall weather pattern. On the GFS model, this is all the way out at Friday the 3rd, so another week down the road. Ridge in Alaska. Colder air trying to move in, but notice this, the old southeast ridge kind of rearing its ugly head. We'll see. Again, let me go back to this European chart. Notice this trough that tries to develop underneath the ridge off the west coast. That could inhibit some of the cold air from moving down, but I still like the idea of changing to a colder pattern late month and into early March. This is the Canadian ensemble. These are 5,000 foot temperature deviations from normal. So relative to average, which at this point is the 27th of February, some colder than average air at that point in time over much of the lower 48. Now we go out to March the 3rd, and there's a real shot of cold air that's covering a good chunk of the country. And then out to March the 4th into the 5th. That is a cold look across the lower 48. There are some indications of nothing overly strong, but maybe a little bit of a negative Arctic oscillation, or at least a neutral Arctic oscillation by the 3rd to the 5th or 6th of March. We'll see. I do think late month into early March will be much colder over much of the lower 48, but how much that pattern wants to lock in as we get further into March, I just don't have a great feeling for just yet. All right, that is it for the latest edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.